applause is cooking up. What up, eh?
This is the spoken word with that word.
What up?
Tell them, Josh. That beat you just heard is produced by the great Pilar Faustin. I met this brother through a virtual open mic. This pandemic has been eye-opening for a couple things, but man, he got some heat. He said that to me. I don't even deserve this beat, Pilar. What you doing getting this to me? This gotta come 50 just clean to listen to it. You can't just be giving this out for free for a podcast? Brother, what you doing? I gotta get with your business plan. Come on. We in here. All right, fade out on them niggas. We are in the spoken word with that word. We have I've been gone. I've been taking my precious time in the universe. But the Lord has blessed me with a special vision and more importantly, a special guest to make this comeback episode pop off. I have the multifaceted, multi-talented, self-published author. She is a creative muse, one of the wisest creative impulses you will ever find or be graced in your presence. She has a voice that is so soothing, so toned that you just have to listen. Ain't no shutting it off. It cannot be dismissed. Please welcome into the spoken word with that word, Monisade Fabumi, as I call her Moni. Well, say what up to the people.
What it does. Dang.
You got to, man. You got to put respect on your name, girl.
That was real from a guy with an illustrious, you know what I'm saying, background like yourself. That was crazy.
yeah, it's illustrious. It's coming illustrious. The beautiful thing about me, I feel, is that like, you know, I got so much stuff just like loading. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I just been buffering and like. I had to learn to embrace that. And your book has helped me really come to terms with like the creative process. For those of y'all who do not know, Moni wrote this beautiful book of affirmations, of creative impulses, of wisdom, of really trappings of what she found so far. Hence the title, What I Found So Far. We're gonna definitely get into the book and get into, you know, the philosophy of it, but the spoken word with Edward, man, we here, we back. Let me hit him with the sound drop.
What up?
Or which one?
What up? What up?
All right, we here. We are here. We live in this thing. I am dang, Moni, I just like I know I got an interview to do for the guests, but like I feel like just catching up. Like, girl, like I'm just so like we were supposed to have this interview 18,000 moons ago, I feel like. Like this interview has been in the process for hundreds of ages. Like back with the Palace of Thought, but now I got the platform, I got the spoken word, and I just want to say I'm just thankful that you able to do this for me, like, you know, like hopefully, obviously I know you may not see it as a favor or whatever, this is just conversation, but for me it means a lot to get you on my show.
Oh, and I've always seen you, bro. Like from day, I was like, bro, you are the host of everything. Like in the sense that like I have no idea, you know what I mean, how you're gonna use your voice one day, but I just knew that you should. And it was like you have such a powerful gift that I'm glad to see you using it and perfecting, you know what I'm saying? Like these channels and shit like that. Like that shit is great and it's inspiring. And it's like it charges me up just to see you you know what I'm saying? Chasing it. Like
chasing it.
Being it. You already are. Like, yeah.
I'm on that. And you definitely one of those people who was very. I give you a lot of props. And my phone overheated, so it's gonna reboot. Don't worry about it though. We gonna rock. I'm gonna be back in action in the time being. But when I tell you are instrumental, especially in my time at UVA, the formative years, and like instilling not just confidence, not that bullshit like, oh, you know, wow, you put words together like, nah, like you gave me the type of confidence, feel like, man, okay, I got something here. Like, I'm not fronting. I'm not fronting. I got proof. I got voice memos to prove it. Like, this ain't even up for debate. Like, what you did, like how I felt about that shit. Like, I still carry some of that stuff today, especially when I'm in this world, and it make me feel like I gotta, you gotta fit into this box. This little locked padded box, and I can listen to some of these old voice conversations we had and know that, you know what, I have a higher purpose. And I ain't gonna get bogged down on a motherfucking spreadsheet. Even though I do like spreadsheets, ain't gonna get caught down on no spreadsheet because I got a purpose to spread sheets. I don't know if that was a bar or not, but I guess people should know though. Like, we should tell them how we met or how we got connected. We took that class with Lady T. And for those who don't know Lady T, she's one of drama directors. She hosts a bevy of classes, and Lady T, I would want to know, like, Lady T don't do things like the typical way I think people think, very linear, like linear when it comes to like putting on a production. What did you pull away from Lady T's creative process? Like, what you learned about her, when she devised and stuff like that?
Yo, to be honest, I don't know why it came back to me so viscerally just now as you asked me that, but faith, Jesus, like, she, like, like, things could, first of all, you're trying to coordinate a lot of people, so, like, that is not easy to, like, what I'm saying, get them to do anything in concert in a short period of time. And but she never doubted that we would, because we had to. And and it was just like that, and we did. And that is just incredible, to be honest, just to know that, like, a different response as far as temperament when it came down to the wire would have not maybe been as successful, but, like, she was in control of the storm at all times, and, like, an anchor, like, a grounding energy, and just, like, you rose to the occasion. She fucking put the stairway in front of you. All you had to do was, like,
get on.
Yeah, man. And, like, that to be, man, I think the intention, even in creating the atmosphere of her classroom, was conducive to, success.
Show.
But very cool. Because you also didn't want to disappoint her.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, not Lady T.
Yeah, you just
that wasn't in the plans. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, Lady T, she taught me something about time, right? Like, she let me know that, like, because like, I'm a procrastinator. Like, I have faith. I don't even call it procrastination. I got faith and peer pressure. Those two alone to get shit done. And so, like, I just knew it was gonna come together. But I do remember a couple other classmates who ain't never really had Lady T before was stressing. It was like, Lady T, the show is in 8 days. You remember? Come on, you remember?
No, maybe. I was trying to think if that was the only time I took her. I feel like it. No. Wait. I'm trying to think if I had her for 2 different classes.
Did you take, like, hip hop theater?
I definitely did.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely did. Because we met in a theater every day, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, we had, like, Tuesday, Thursday.
One other class, so you're right. Like, I guess I did come into that class informed of, like, some of what her class was going to be like.
Oh yeah, man. Because Lady T, she don't even say hello, class. She says hello, beautiful and beautiful people of the universe,
of the world,
of the multiverse. Like, bro, like, so Lady T was on top of it, but she did drop this gem on me that I still use today. Is that, like, basically you can create time. Like, you can't recover time, but you can always create time, or you can condense time. So basically, what she was telling me is, like, if you don't ever act like time is a factor, right? Like, if you need to make time, you put it, like, you literally block out whatever time you have and you have it. And when she said you can condense time, it's like you can cram all night for a test and you just made time to study for the test. And so she took that energy into her creative process. And that's why, of course, she was never, stressed, about the productions and stuff like that. But she gave me that little thing to anchor on. and you know, that's something I definitely carry to today. Like, you know, like that was always my thing. Like, I always felt like I was busy, not productive, right? Like I'm so busy. Like, where's my time going? And it's like basically Einstein tell us time is relative. Like time, like so once you accept what an actual genius has to say about time, then you start to apply the principles of time. Like, you know what? I just got to make time for this, man. Like if I really want this bad, this podcast, I got to make time. Ain't no shortcuts. It's like I got to put in 10 hours of like doing a whole episode and realizing none of the audio recorded. I got to do episodes where like my, you know what I'm saying, my internet was spotty and it never upload. I got to go through those learning pains and I got to make that time to get to the point where I'm at right now.
I just had that experience, but yeah, like as far as like recording one and then your internet shitty or something happens and like it's gone. It's just
gone.
You just feel like
robbed. You stolen. Like I was taken from this land. Yeah, no, I felt that. Man. So, but Lady T aside, I remember meeting you at UVA and like we met through class, but like you was throwing productions in your own right. Like you was putting parties on at your house. And here's the thing, I threw house parties too, but like we was just like I'll never call my parties the same like type of party that you was putting on. Like you threw productions, you did like showcases, you know what I'm saying? You created like scenes, you created all types of that stuff.
We would just have, I mean, like the guy that lived with Carl David, he was a party host, like
man with the turtleneck,
yeah,
the poppers, man. I was like, I just
right. Niggas didn't even know what poppers were for real.
Nigga, not at all. That was like, welcome experience.
That is the funniest shit ever.
Girl.
But yeah, I did really enjoy living with people who like, you know, we saw a lot of it was almost inevitable. Like everybody in the house just had friends that would just be around and we always gotta have like things to drink in the house or things to eat in the house and just like you said, like we had this book on the wall called Be Here Now. I actually have it now in a text form.
What?
But that's like what was on the walls. Honestly, so I'm in my lab. I can like run 3 steps that way and grab it just to show you the pages.
Please go ahead, man. Like it's a spoken word. We here. Moni, man, y'all don't understand. She ran too for my listeners. She actually just cut out. Yeah, no, Moni really she definitely did that when it came to like her scene, her like room. I mean, not even room. The host like I can't describe. Like you walk in, you just felt like you just went into a set. Like look at that. Oh my look at that.
These were like all these pages. We just pulled them out of the book and had the square tiles or whatever, and just like put the whole book. Well, which really set the tone. For sure.
So like where'd you come across that book? Is that like a popular book or is that just something in the cut?
I believe it was called David's book. And it's by, I don't want to get his name, Ram Dass, right? Ram Dass just passed last year. He's like one of the like, I guess, pioneer explorers of LSD. And so this book honestly is a trip. And like, to be honest, so is what I found so far. Like what I found so far, I've written honestly to kind of like merge like, I guess the things you're privy to on psychedelics with the default world. Like, and I feel like that's a lot of what Be Here Now is. Yeah. And so it's definitely a book that like, once I started coming up with things, like it inspired me to write it down, like this and the Tao Te Ching. Those, and like the Tao Te Ching came into my life because I took a Taoism class like my 4th year. And I hated the class, to be honest. It was like very, very, very boring. Like the teacher was boring, but I think it's because he was trying to teach it too academically rather than like spiritually. It was like we were reading stuff and like half of our class might talk about like, you know, who's authorized to translate or like whatever, just some bullshit, or the specifics of the choices that this specific translator made, or like rather than like us engaging with like how this book could shape our character. Like, but
Yeah.
the translation that he made us buy was so fire that like I connected with it anyway.
Mm.
And yeah, so between Be Here Now being on my walls at the crib and having the Tao Te Ching and like I think those, and also taking like metaphysics in at UVA, and I was like, I think I was. So I took 2 classes with this guy. His name was Trenton Merricks, I believe. Professor Merricks. He reminded me of like, he was like the Patch Adams of like philosophy. Like if Robin Williams was your philosophy professor, that's this nigga.
Wow.
And,
oh God.
Oh God. It was so tight. But I took the philosophy of God with him first, which was cool. And that was maybe like a 2000 level course, I think. And then like, I think metaphysics was a 3000 level course. But you had to take 1 class with him before you took metaphysics. So I was glad that I got that out of the way. But like something about philosophy drew me to it. Like, because I feel like when I was taking philosophy classes, I was like an English major, and then the last time I was a Black Studies. I mean, African American Studies major when I took metaphysics. But that's a class that like combined with taking Taoism or being introduced to the Tao Te Ching, like made me understand how to write sound statements. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm grateful for that class because he also made it fun and like not fun as in like he didn't make it game, but it was just like his excitement about it and like the way you could like see him enjoying these thoughts and things like that. It was fun. And I was definitely probably the only Black female in my class for sure.
Yeah.
And I liked occupying spaces like that at UVA because I was from outer space to some of them niggas. But it was
about that.
But I like, you know what I'm saying? I was present. I feel like that's like, I don't know, it's work, but
it like
those are the things. Those are seeds that were planted in me at UVA. Like I wasn't writing then, but when I started to have ideas, I was like, okay, I know how to test this and make sure that it is sound, and I know like how to like, you know what I'm saying, construct like the plausible rebuttals. I just know when it gets to the point where it's airtight because Trent Merricks didn't play that shit and would just let you know, your shit losing air, you about to sink. Like, you better pack that hole up in that.
Wow, your shit losing air, you about to sink, man. y'all put that down. Shit, talk to me then. I mean, you wrote a book. Like when it comes to a short book, and not short on content, not short on like meaning. It's a dense book in my opinion, not like academically dense. Like it's just balance. Maybe that's the word. I feel like this is the type of book like you can just put on a needle and it just like sit straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm wondering like maybe you could like help me out with that. Like I'm very long winded and losing air. I'm just too much air in this thing. So like maybe you could let me know real quick. Like when it comes to like putting together a sentence, you know what I'm saying, or like putting together a thought. How are you going about that? Like how are you going about whether it's from Trenton Merrick, what you learned, what you found so far, literally, like when you come across a thought, do you consider it finished, right? Do you work at it, or you?
Question. I think usually they occur to me as lessons in the sense that like it's like I've gone through whatever process, I guess, using my like my heart as a compass through whatever it is. If it's something I'm going through for the first time, you know what I'm saying? And then like whatever the moral of the story is, I'll try to like write it down. That's how some things occur to me. Or I may have a tension in my spirit that I can't quite like articulate. And once I do, I'll like write that down. Like there's one that says, it is my duty to impress the world with who I am so they will wonder where I came from. And I will have to tell them about you. And that to me was like, I just felt like in life, like as a kid, I was like pretty quiet, like the type to like come over and be like shy to speak, but not because I didn't understand that it was rude to ever be somewhere and not speak. But I like sometimes literally like might have been so nervous I wanted to just be invisible or like whatever. Like that was just, I just remember that like mindset, and it gave me a bad reputation of just like not speaking or being shy to speak. And then like, but so what I wanted people to know is that like I actually would rather feel comfortable speaking to you type shit, or like I'm grateful for whatever you do for me in this space. And then I said, and then I bring that up because it was also like in life I used to feel like I couldn't express how grateful I was, and I thought that like because I was like struggling to do so, like, you know, people might think I'm not, or like people might like, and so like it was like, how do I understand that I'm living my life in a posture of gratitude for everything that has ever contributed to like me being who I am? And like that's when that one came to me as like, this is I think how I can perfectly express what I'm doing or how I feel. But sometimes a thought isn't finished, and sometimes sometimes I change my mind in the sense that like it depends on the day. You ask me, there's one in here that says like I'm always ready for my next to be my last, and like it, like I feel like I'm still trying to figure out, I guess, my philosophy about like my interactions with other people, in a sense that like I am, in a sense that like, yeah, like I would love to be in a partnership of some sort, you know what I'm saying? So like I know that like that's one of the things that I want most in life, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know if I'm right about wanting like monogamy. I don't know if I'm whatever, but I am partial that way in the sense that like if anyone that I like for lack of a better way to put it, you know, if that's my life partner, like I'm gonna be like, that's cool with me. I don't know, but like it's one that isn't. It's one that I revisit a lot. Like, do you feel like that? Like yes, but like it doesn't have to be my last.
It don't. I feel that. Well, it seems like we about to get into this book, everybody. This is the Spoken Word. I'm here with Moni. We are talking about her book, What I Found So Far, her book of philosophy. And as we're gonna get into it right now, we're gonna get into a break. I'm about to play. Actually, it's on a memory me and Moni created together. We were in class, and I was asked to come up with we had to do a creative exercise for Lady T, as you heard, and this is kind of what came from that. So this is the very first draft of a poem called Therapy, and I'm just gonna let that fly, everybody.
One more time.
Trying to see you, my eyes grow confused. It is not your face they are seeking, fingering through your spaces like a hungry child. Even now, I do not want to make a poem. I want to make you more and less apart from myself.
I got it.
All right, guys.
It has to be about a current event, or it's just anything?
No, just
So that is the current event.
this is the line.
Okay.
It's called therapy.
Therapy.
You need someone to
Yeah, and you need a note taker and a timer.
I don't know if I'm gonna spit.
I can be a note taker.
I might end this shit. All right, note taker.
Everybody got it now.
Oh no, I'm gonna spit. I'm talking about like, you know, rapping.
Yeah, man, the TA was not going for that bullshit.
Okay, cool.
Everybody got to spit now.
I remember what the hell she said. You know what I'm saying?
Therapy. I'm trying to see.
Therapy. When can I see you soon? I see you. You the wind to my monsoon. I hope to win you. But me and my goons, we roll deep. So
we roll deep.
It's gonna have to be that. I don't like where this is going, so I'm gonna jump off that peak and maybe creep down to your creek. See, you linger like suspended air particles shooting off. I can't help but to look. You take everything from me. You are a black hole, taking my densities, my gravity, creating planets and stars. We create, but yet you're there so far. I need you to be with me, but also need you to be apart from me. Because there's no way I can say this less lightheartedly, except the fact that what you got that truth. And I'm talking about the book of Genesis. But I need to exit this out of this before I get crazy. I've been sipping on this Guinness shit.
Ooh.
And I've been
Dante
on that
with
draft.
the ooh.
Hopefully you can not pick up the nervousness in my laugh, and you can kind of smell the herbs I put in the bath that you can soak
cilantro in the
in.
bath. Y'all
I
hear
hope
that?
You think of me and you hoping, but don't you ever realize hoping becomes hopeless?
Or
Does happily ever after ever happen? I don't know. Maybe that's just for the actors. They walk off to their greener pastures and they run to their pastors to get married. But the thought of being stuck to one person is quite scary. Because I got all these theories of everything, theories of knowledge
thought I
that
killed it with that
I
one.
could figure it out. But it really takes two. We got to share what we have. We got to care for what we have. We got to nurture this growing seed. We got to hope this flower buds soon. Because winter's coming sooner than you think. Because in my dreams, I like to walk and tiptoe to the brink. And in my brink and in my dreams is you staring back at me. But it's from a slanted view. You looking down at me very scarily. And every time I think and express myself, it's quite rarely that I don't intertwine you in my thoughts.
Ooh.
Intertwine you in my day.
Hey, you heard that?
Every time I put my pants on, I always think, what would you say if I wore these? Or if you would notice this blazer I wore the other day, and if I wore the same pants twice this week. I really hope that goes by and you don't pick up on all that. But if you do, that's cool, because that means you're at least looking. Now, at least look. I would spend all my time in jail with you, skip the booking. We don't need all of that.
I would never spend time
You
in
the type
jail
of
with
woman
someone,
I can see
though.
waking
Like
up to
voluntarily,
cooking
though.
for. I cook for hours. May not taste that good, but I do it for you. Hopefully, you do the same. I'm gonna ask my time, how much time I got left. But if I need to keep going, I can keep going.
Man, you're at 216. So
I'm at
another time for another 216.
I knew 216, and so I just laugh. I'm laughing at my casket, and I'm coughing at my coffin. It's sad how we talk a lot, but we don't talk as often as we should. The things that we had was right. We put that sugar in our night, and I ended up on your murder row, your death row, and your death grip. I hope to be with me is your final death wish. But also pray you don't have to die in order to see that come true. We can make it right now. We can own time. We can bend the hands. We can bend. We can be where they say we can't stand. And if you play your cards right, hopefully, well, if I play my cards right, I don't have to fold my hand. Because if I fold, that means someone told and I can't bluff no more. Because that river is flowing. And I'm just keep going. I'm not making much sense. But hopefully, one day we could pitch a tent together in our own village. Our own village. That's all.
Yo, you are incredible.
He's literally just
This is what I'm talking about.
You are incredible. Like, it's not a game.
That was crazy.
Like, the thing, what the?
I love this. Like, Bo, you don't understand how much that.
Pause that shit.
I still come back to that part.
Funny.
Like,
And then-
girl, I really, man, like that right there is like that let you know you got something going on, man. To this day, I need that as a sound bite. That's my next sound bite.
Need that for sure.
Yeah.
To this day, no, like I think in that space too, especially like the year that we were in Lady C's class together, I was a fifth year, so I had already like unsubscribed from like the norms and also like any sort of like barriers between like me and how I wanted to identify, you know what I'm saying, as a professional, whatever, like in the sense that like, you know, like if I grew up playing sports, like basketball till I was a senior in high school, and then I didn't play anything in college, but then you're like an academic because you're like at school or whatever. But like being an artist is something that people, either you have to just like unsubscribe early, and that's a hard life too. Or once you've gone far enough down a certain path, and then maybe you decide you want to do something that has that involves with your ideas or self-expression, people are like, you can't switch it. You can't do that now. You don't qualify. You're not an artist. You're not. And it's just like, that shit is, oh my God, I know the terrorism of it. And being in that space, I always wanted to affirm other people that definitely, you know what I'm saying, were called to make art. Like, because I just felt like, yeah, like we all needed that affirmation, like coming from like a colonial school, you know what I'm saying, of like, want to be these and want to be that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that many people were daring to be themselves. And like, and like trusting their own talent and betting on that. So like I was always eager to affirm some talent in somebody because like
that's my love language. Like I need validation. I need to know that like I'm doing shit right, baby. Like baby, like you love me. Like yeah, like I need that. Like I'm your pet. Like you need to tickle me behind the ear. Like good job. Like I need to hear that. Like I really do, or else like my imagination gonna run and I'm trying to. Yeah, no, that's the best way to put it, that affirmation right there. I think for that, but we so this man, you got so many gems in this. Like, here's the thing, like I ain't trying to mess you. I ain't trying to fuck your money up because like if I could ask you a question about every one of these things, and that's not even like producer podcast speak. Like I'm trying to get the rap genius verified annotation from the.
I like that too, and it wouldn't, to be honest, because like just anyone engaging with this piece of work deeply, it means a lot to me, and I'm always. I think it's inexhaustible as far as like how much we can talk about it and how many different things, different discussions of it might we get. So yeah, let's I would love to talk about however many, because they're chapter subheadings. Like
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
and,
I see that,
and it's like it's fine, it's fun. Yeah. I brought down to show you though the original joint though.
That's it.
Yeah, like
let me see.
I had to put like it was just a black moleskin, and I had to put some, and this was like finally like I was carrying it around with like a like damn near like the spine of it falling apart for a while, and then I finally put some tape on it, and it's been like that for a while. But it was like one of those like blank sketch pocket journals or whatever, and I started writing in this when I started cutting hair, like around that time, and like I just
that's damn keep your money. that's fire.
I just would write it on these pages, and that's how I kept them together. Because like first I threw a party and like I put intentions on the wall. It was a New Year's event, and my brother's birthday happened to be New Year's. But like because of the New Year's event, you always talk about resolutions at that time. I was like, I feel like it's fitting to put philosophy on the walls. And then I also had the hypothesis that like, if I did it, hopefully if the things were like provocative, I guess, like, for lack of a better way to put it at the moment, but if people were like enticed or like encouraged to read them and like really take them in, if they were easy to take in really quickly, I felt like I could, suggest just the mind state for the party. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like trying to like minimize the things I have to worry about. And if like we're all in here worried about being our best selves, I figured that like, you know what I'm saying, things would go smoothly, and they did. And then after that, I took down which ones they weren't all original, because that wasn't even my intention at first. I was just trying to look for shit that was good. But then once I started carrying it, when a download might come to me, I had somewhere to put it. And I always wrote with the same pen. Like, that was like my only rule.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that's how it came together. And then people were like, you should put, like, I would pass it to anybody, because to be honest, before I published, I did a lot of experimenting just to make sure it was worth publishing. Like, I was like, trying to unlearn some of the anxiety and apprehension you get from people telling you you're not an artist or you're not valid in whatever way. So I would pass it to strangers, because I'm just like, that's the market. Like, the market will decide. And so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I pass this to a nigga on the train and they're like, I would buy one. And that's what I would always do. I would pass it to somebody on a plane or on a train, or like I would do like street installations, like in a different city, just to see if it was an attractive flair, like if it had any gravity for real. And I pulled miracles out of the sky sharing this like randomly. So like those are the things that affirmed me on the way to like making it, mass producing it.
Yeah.
But
That's actually because I was gonna ask you that question. I was gonna like, how'd you make the book and what came into it. And that's dope that you did like your own like research and development on it. But it's like not even it's like that spiritual R&D. You know what I'm saying? It's like I need to like get that, like I said, that stranger market just so like
yeah,
no, I don't need people who know me and love me. Like I don't need that feedback. Like I need like that's one thing I miss about the creative spaces that we operated in is that like I was in a writing room with people who would like legit like not tear your shit up for the sake of destruction, but for reconstruction, right? You know what I'm saying? And like, and it's like, especially when I meet like artists in my space out here, everyone's just too nice. Be too nice with each other. And then if you're not, you dickheads. And so like it'd be dope to get like that untested, saying that stranger,
yeah.
stranger
I felt
opinion.
like I couldn't feel safe without having it for real. Like, because sometimes the people closest to you are not going to be the ones that affirm you the most. They kind of like need,
Oh, for sure.
They just need triple double affirmation. I don't know. And they could have the best intentions, but like for yourself, like not being an artist, being a scientist. Like, sure, I am a scientist. I know how to test something until I can say that this, what I'm saying, theory is pretty valid or like it should work type shit.
So, in question, right? You talk about being an artist, obviously, a philosopher, writer, but you also are a barber, and like, I can get how'd you become like cutting hair, and like, feel free to
That's
share
how it
that,
became.
right? Yeah, me.
Like that's the shit. You telling me thank you, bruh. You trusted me at such a crucial time, and that was even a very important creative space. That was some like extracurricular after school shit. That was really some life building, like some like career building, career shaping shit. Like
It's crazy. I never looked at it like that. To me, Moni,
cool.
you can cut hair. Like I trusted you. I don't know. Like you had
We worked on your shit for like 2 hours, Mo, and you were cooling and like, man, it is so funny because like, but just seriously, what a pivotal time. Such beautiful memories. Like I got pictures of you, I got video of you from that era. And just like, and also like, I just love that it doesn't really feel like that much time has passed. Like talking to you now is like, bruh, like
pick up. Yeah, like I said.
That is cool. But yeah, like cutting your hair, like shit. I guess it's because we were in the same class. I got those like cards made. It's so funny. Like as we have this conversation, I'm thinking about all the all the things I wish I had handy. They're probably not.
You had like it was like a it was a comb. It was like a wooden comb, a wooden pick, and then it had your name on it or like all that. And like I think you said they were like coupons or something.
Yes,
I can't remember.
But I like made them and I wanted them to be wood so they could be like vouchers and like I expected to be able to like pass them out again. I think I made like 50 of them through another friend who went to UVA. His name was Kyle. And I think Kyle had definitely already graduated at the time and he was working at a maker space. I don't really remember what it was called. Maybe it was, but yeah, they just had like fabrication tools and shit. And I drew it and sent it to him. I remember the signature on it I did in a Sharpie. I think I still have the envelope that I wrote it on. I just took a picture of that and he scanned it and put it on that shit.
Bro, you got like, you have memorabilia. Like, if you ever like go that shit.
Yeah.
You legit got tokens.
It's definitely memorabilia. I'm like, I'm gonna carry it because that's not against the rules.
Oh yeah, curate. All right, we about to get an
in-depth
tour.
If I have one of them close by because I definitely know I've seen one recently. I know. But yeah, like that was, and it's such a special time to me because like I didn't even know I was gonna be able to continue cutting hair until like I do it.
Let me see.
Right
Yo.
I knew it. Oops, excuse me. Yes, there's one right here. And like I said, this is cool to me too because like I do think like one thing that I want to do next is low key go to design school because I feel like after I realized like how intentionally I live my life and then like also what I understand like what I that I do like even in cutting hair and even in designing my path like I am a designer and like yeah, but even in designing this, like, this is one of the things that's like I can actually reach pretty far back and think about like how like I was designing things. Like this function had like I wanted it to be timeless type shit. Like I did want it to be like something that like um was functional, and then also like I thought that like making it like this, this is if this is your first impression of me as a barber, then like you might be inclined to trust me.
Actually, I think that's what happened. Actually, like granted, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like I swear, because I don't even know like who made the ask. If I asked you or you asked me, but like somehow like it came up, and then like yeah, like hell, you a designer. You told me you had an idea for my head, and I was like, all right, cool, like free world, man. Just don't.
I'd definitely be like, I think this is your best cut type shit.
You did, and I appreciated that you took right the amount of time that you did, because like I was used to that. Like you know what I'm saying. I had the same barber for like years growing up, and like people knew, and I got in a chair that like you know what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be a minute. Like I'm asking for some extra shit. You know, I'm coming in with the pompadour. I'm coming in. You know what I'm saying. Like I want my stuff sculpted, and yeah. And so like for you to get that, that's not the same type of love I got from like if I went to JJ's or something. Even though you know, I obviously I love all the conversation and the cuts and the convenience and like the quick. You know, you can get a quick cut. I definitely appreciated more artistry of it. And granted, you know, obviously, I don't think you would take that long today to cut my hair because you have so much experience. So I know I'm not going to discredit
cut your
someone.
hair today. Just off the strength, like. Just it would be so trippy for me. Like, oh my god, I definitely.
Hey, it's gonna happen. It's not even the if, but when we set that up.
For
So,
sure.
So we get into this book, right? And I think you know you can tell me if I'm wrong. It's like divided into sections. I felt like it wasn't like clear linear. Like now we're going to talk about love, but it was very like it just kind of bleed in. But if we go from the beginning of the book, the first note I got is the one that you dropped earlier. And it is my duty to impress the world with who I am, so they will wonder where I came from, and I will have to tell them about it. Right? Letter to my ancestors, parents, teachers, friends, homeland, mentors, children, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, the truth, the Tao, the sun, the earth, the moon. I mean, you gave a lot of people credit for that one. So like you consider it a duty?
I guess self to self, like, because it's like if I never get to tell you thank you, there is still a way I'm expressing gratitude. You know what I'm saying, for your spirit, and for your influence. So yeah, it's a duty, like self to self, or I can't like know in my heart that I've shown my gratitude.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
So then the next one I had. This is a key one for me. Part of being great is learning to outsource some of that greatness to those around you, whilst being the same kind of source for them. Like me, like I had to learn, like you know, like I can do a lot of things, right? I like to juggle. That's who I am. I love juggling. Like I want to do sound design. I want to do hosting entertainment. I want to do like critical, thing. Like I want to do that. But it's also like I was reading Ray Diallo Principle, and it was just there's a point where like just because I can don't mean someone else can't do it better, right? And it ain't it's not an insult on me. It's just people come at different stages, and in order for me to fulfill my vision and give honor to the tribute that I'm trying to make and give it back, to the gift, give the gift back, it needs to have that type of quality. And so like I've learned to fire myself from making beats for certain projects. You know what I'm saying? Like I can make a beat, but why not outsource it? Like I got so many dope producers, so many dope friends who literally do this, and like they don't even really juggle. Like they do this shit for real. They do this shit like I do shit. Like they really on it. So like they come through with it.
You stupid.
I ain't dropped that one in a minute. That's an OG one. But yeah, man, tell me about this about this wisdom. Like what was this a moment in your life you had to learn?
Yeah, I think like it was to me just being disappointed, honestly, because I feel like I've just seen like just ugly behavior from folks that like really don't understand that like you do not have to do it all, and you don't have to be the like. And it was just like, how can I explain my own disposition? Where did I learn it from? Maybe basketball, because it's like, how am I gonna win? It's 5 of us, you know what I'm saying? And like, I don't have to do everything. I don't have to be the big man and a shooter, and bring the ball to the court. You know what I'm saying? Like part of being great, you know what I mean, is like knowing the ministries of my teammates. And knowing what you do best and shit like that. That's me working smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what that comes from. And I just felt like, I just wanted them to be boiled down to like the simplest way. Like, I feel like the Tao Te Ching, the reason why it is important to me is because some of the character shaping lessons are so readily digestible, and like it's almost like it leaves no trace and it still leaves an impression.
Like for me, I had to learn this lesson. Like I'm into the Avatar and like the Last Airbender. And it's like, look, dude, you not Aang. Like there's one Aang in the whole show. You know that, right? There's millions of firebenders, 100,000 earthbenders, some water tribe, and you think you Aang? And it's wild because it's like you don't even got to be the Avatar. Like you can still like you don't even got to be a bender. Like rewatching the show older now, like I'm like, if I'm anybody, I'm Sokka. You know what I'm saying? Like Sokka ain't got nothing but a boomerang. He ain't got no powers, but you know what I'm saying? He makes stuff happen. He got into a poetry battle with someone. He out here trying to run game. Like it's just all that jazz. So like I just embrace that. And so I'm not saying people ain't special, but I realized that, like, you know what I'm saying? If you are the chosen one, I don't, like, for me, don't let me put words in your mouth. For me, if you the chosen one, like, it ain't something that's just hiding. Like, I might be wrong on that, but I feel like if you the Avatar, you find out you the Avatar you figure that out. I think you could challenge that for sure. But like, for me, like, in the way I think, the way I look at my creative process, like, I don't need to, like, I guess specifically, like, I really can't, like, hold a tune, which sucks because I love singing more than anything. And look, I'm an engineer. I got all the tunes.
You gotta slow down and be around somebody who hears your voice, and then also, like, listen to voices that are similar to yours in timbre, and see how those people use their voices. And just relax. Like, because I really do believe everybody can sing and everybody can learn to sing if that's your desire. It's about listening, for real. That's it. Like, as long as you follow your voice, I think you can learn to sing for real. Especially if you have like a rare timbre, which you do. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, like, okay, and I'm not gonna disagree with you. Like, I agree. Like,
it's about the seasoning, okay? Yeah. You got to season your shit with the right shit.
Yeah, like, my shit do not be.
Like, you might need to listen to some gospel tenors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And see what they doing. Yeah. And like, you know, like, this is definitely about intentionally, like, I guess, showing yourself what's out there. I mean, even a nigga like James Blake, it's like, it's a very tall nigga who probably has a fairly deep speaking voice. Yeah. You know, and this nigga will hit some, like, falsettos. I was about to
move forward. Yeah, no, James Blake will do that. He will.
Yeah, like, you gotta, it's just about listening and patience. Because I swear, okay, so freshman year of UVA, I definitely, you know, acapella at UVA is a thing. And I definitely tried out for a remix and maybe something else. But they was like, nah. They were like, nah. I was like, damn. I thought I was deep. Like, damn. And I didn't know shit about harmonizing, to be honest. And I didn't know anything about like, I just didn't know anything about singing technically. I just liked to sing. And I was like, I'm in college, I'm gonna try new things, you know? So I did that shit. But then maybe, I guess, how many years has it been? Like at least 5. Niggas be like, you can sing.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what?
I heard some shit. Yeah, no, you took that class for
Niggas always say that. And I feel like, you know, I just know it's been like listening. I like cutting hair, honestly, because like for real, I think ultimately I do want to, maybe not ultimately, but making music is something that I want to do. And like I started cutting hair. One, it's a life hack because I listen to music all day. All I do is listen to music and sing. So like the 10,000 hours I'm telling you about, like, yeah, just listen for 10,000 hours and you'll be able to sing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, let me do these both at the same time.
Wow.
So that's what I do all day. And yeah, I also feel like being successful as far as like going from 0 to professional at one thing, like freed me up to believe in my ability to get good at a different craft. So like it helped me like set a pick on some anxieties, and now I can make music. Actually, it's funny because listening to you freestyle in the bit that you played earlier, I was thinking about the fact that like for real, like I was also so stunned at that point because you were so fluid. Like you just let yourself think out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like you might stumble, but you were like, I'm not gonna drop it though. Yeah. Like I might fumble it, but I won't drop it. Yeah. And that's like a disposition that you need to like have and be like confident in when you're freestyling. And I feel like, you know, learning to freestyle is a thing. You might do it by accident by listening to people freestyle so much that you just like, you know what I'm saying, you start to do it. But if you have to learn to do it, you kind of have to learn to let yourself go. Yeah. And I feel like just recently I feel like something clicked in my mind about not necessarily freestyling yet. I mean, I'll be freestyling, but like at the same time, like I don't think I've tapped into the God flow, the fountain of youth type shit. But I did figure something out about writing though. Like I feel like now I can write from like a single phrase and like unpack that into a whole verse more easily than I did before.
Girl, like I said, you play something you made for Professor Coffee. Like you played, and I'm like, you had some there.
Ted Coffee, bruh. That class was also pivotal because those are still tracks that I reference today that make me feel like, okay, like this music shit is not far-fetched. It's not because you've already shown yourself you can do it. Mm-hmm. And it was projects that I had to do for Ted Coffee. Like even the poems that I wrote for Lady T's classes, like I'm glad that like, you know, an assignment forced me to produce. Yeah. Because they showed me something out of myself. And I can't, unfortunately, you know, it's like the anxieties of the world make you feel like it's a risk to like commit all of your time to just doing that. But I
love how you put that. Like when you say, you don't say like my anxiety, you say the anxieties of the world. Like that intentional, or is that just like a bar? Cause like I think that's I'm gonna use that.
I just think that like, you know, I know that my heart wants to do something. And so if there's reasons why I'm not, I don't think it's like in me. It's like on me. Yeah. Like, let me get it off, you know what I'm saying? Get it off. Yeah. So like with the apprehension that comes about making music is more so about like, or even just like the faith in like, okay, it is worth your time to like just sit down and like find things in your head because those things are going to be valuable. It's like half of me knows that, but I also know that like if I don't find any gold, you know what I'm saying? Somebody will say I wasted a day or like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know it's there. I know it's there for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for this next phase. So I just had a birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I hope. I didn't know you was a Leo. I got like all my family like Leos and Cancers and stuff. So like this is birthday season. So I hope the sun did you well.
Yo, it was beautiful, and I've been learning so much already because it feels like a new year, personal new year. Like it definitely feels very like fresh. This is like I'm 5 days old right now.
Ooh,
And
I'ma still, girl. That's so fire. Like this gonna be the easiest. Like I'm gonna make so many clips. Like I don't even like what. Come with it.
Yeah, and like I feel like this is gonna be a good year for like musical output because I know that some of it is less about the doing and like and more about the attracting. And what I've been attracting is like spaces where I feel comfortable to be creative. Like someone who like sees the glint, like already. It's like if you see it a little bit, it's easier for me to come out and like, what I'm saying, really try to show you instead of trying to like prove to you there is light. Like you have to see it.
Girl, like I'm gonna need this audiobook. Like, yo, like the way you put words together, like you said something in our pre-production call, like when I called you before I went on vacation. And I tried to write it, I don't know if I did, but it's just like the way you just you frame stuff in a way where it's like as a writer, like my job, like I like to ask questions. I want to leave you with a question and I'm not gonna tell you the answer. I'm just gonna like you're gonna naturally come to the answer. But like with you, I'm not saying you don't do that. It seems like when you put out a phrase and it like I can freestyle and rap type shit, but like I can't freestyle words like you just did. Like it's pretty apparent like when I'm performing. Like if I'm trying to talk to a crowd, I still go into presentation Edward mode. You know what I'm saying? Add a little something, add a little EQ to my bass and my voice, and like, I get to but like when I hear you talk, like this is a level of freestyle that like I'm happy to get it for the show, and like obviously I get to steal it, and use it and all that jazz, but yeah, like you really got that, like it just connects, like the way you just push it together. It's like, damn, like, I can't even like it's complete. It just feel like and like it's open for interpret. It's like some things are actually left open ended, so like that's open for interpretation. But sometimes you just say something and it's like it's an artwork, and it's like you can look at it and come to your own conclusion, but it's still complete. So it's just like, damn. Like, okay, so I gotta know about your parents or something. Like, is this like your dad?
No, that's so funny. That is definitely a part of it, and definitely like something that came to mind first to say, which was that like I like my mom definitely has a way of speaking that is like a bit grand sometimes, and so I think that's like an element of it, and I guess her way of speaking is a bit thorough. Like sometimes she's just like very like like and emphatic. And my dad is Nigerian, and I think that a part of Yoruba culture, and then perhaps like many West African cultures or African cultures in general, but like metaphor and stories and stuff like that. It's like, he uses those motifs in like regular everyday conversation all the time to like or like show you things or whatever. So like I think it's something that I learned to do from the way he would like prove points or like teach me things by like making pictures. Like when I was playing basketball, he used to like use a lot of basketball metaphors in like everyday shit. And that would be funny to me because he was trying to like, speak to me through things that I already knew. And one thing is that like, I think because of anxiety, I really do desire to be understood. So I tried, it's like playing taboo, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I make you get like what I'm saying? Like type shit. That type of thinking. And like I think also like there's something that's not in the book that used to be a banner right behind me, but I'm like trying to like change over things that were on my walls. So I put it away, but the banner said the laws of nature repeat themselves. Are you listening? And so like sometimes what I'm doing when I'm making a metaphor is really just like describing a relationship between two things or maybe more things, but like that is like it's iterated in nature, you know what I'm saying? And it just happens to apply to like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how often I know it's true, because there's another instance where these things work together just the same way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can like talk about things that like, you know, yeah.
I'm glad that you keep that pure, because like if me and my lady are like not like a heated discussion, but if it's a disagreement, like I'm like, she gets into her therapist bag because she a therapist. I get into my English bag, you know, my writing bag, my lawyer bag. It's like I'm gonna hit you with some metaphors, and like I know I'm hitting some good points when she tell me like stop with the metaphors. I'm like, all right, bet. Like that's it's but hopefully, you know, baby, I love you. But yeah, so it's
I mean, your metaphor still has to be valid. Like it still have like you can't like, you know, use them if the situations are not like
that's true
congruent, or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
or similar. Like literally, like if it's like literally two things that are just not similar. Like
I know, and you know, obviously, like sometimes, like I don't know, like I don't know if I be testing people or if I just want to like hear logic, or I'm just like to me, like I don't mind. I don't like conflict. Like I'd rather like not argue at all, you know, this and that. But I actually I like I'm still a part of the life of the mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I like when we engage life of the mind. Like
I want a cat. Well, he just was off just now. I don't know if it's a he or a she.
It's him, my boy Lemon.
Yo, this man was smooth, just popped in the frame.
He will.
So majestically. I really do want a cat. I love that you got a homie.
Yeah, he just
hanging around.
Yeah,
that's what's up. But what we were talking about is funny because, like, so there's one in here that says, "If you believe you deserve a seat at the table, build your own chair."
Yep.
And that one is pulling from that type of thinking. Like to me, it was like, okay, like how do I get anywhere I want to go? Like, and it's like, okay, like being at the table is a metaphor that we're all familiar with or whatever. And it's like, how do I get to the table with nobody's permission? It's like, okay, bitch, build your own goddamn place to sit. And so like that to me was like very like easy to come up with. And it's funny because it's one of the first ones that like one of the first times I did a public installation was in Miami. I think it was like 2016 or 2017.
Yeah.
But and like I put that one on the wall, and like I was stunned to see. First of all, it's like some of the shit that I've written, I'm just like, has no one ever said this? But I also know that like people have in different ways.
Yeah.
That's why the opening things, like I was gonna say thought, and I almost said statement, so I almost said anyway. The opening thought is a millennial take on ancient truths, and that's what it is. It's like I don't think that I'm saying anything really for the first time. Maybe just like how, you know. But yeah, I was stunned because I'm like, that one is like so matter of fact, so like almost just incredibly apparent and true. That it sounds obvious, but yeah, I couldn't even believe. That's another thing that kept encouraging me to keep writing, because I'm like, I can't even believe this hasn't been said before. I would like Google statements. I'm like that's another reason. That's another way I know I'm done. It's like, let me Google this shit. It's like this shit is too true for me to be the first nigga to say it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, half of these I did not like commit to the journal until I was like, you dead ass. I can't find no other instance of exactly this. I'll take it. All right. Like,
hey, I would have put it in even if I did. I'd say, man, you know, but that's real, man. That's real. Like you say, like I look at it like freestyling. Like when I do get in, like if I'm really doing some if I'm really like impressing people, like impressing myself. But I think you got a bar about that too. Impress myself. You know, that's my job to do something like along that lines. It's like, yeah, like it's not so much that I'm coming up with new stuff all the time. Like it's never like, you know, I'm really just out here like on God flow like that. Like a lot of times I've written stuff throughout my life and it's all available for resource. I'm publicly, as I'm freestyling, like I'm coming up with stuff, but then like I'll be like, oh wait, I came up with something three years ago. I got a word that rhymes with, you know, cabinet, right? And then it's like I go in the cat, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like I haven't thought about that since 3 years ago, but it's just like it's there. So it's like I'm cooking, I'm throwing seasoning in there. So even if the truth is, like you said, ancient, like the way that you rearranged it puts it in a way that makes your understanding available to others. And I think that's that's the role of, as a philosopher, as like an intellectual, someone in the life of the mind, is that like, how do I make my forms of knowing available to others? And like the same way that women have been saying, men ain't shit for like it's just historically, we fall short when it comes to upholding ourselves because we in this patriarchy. But if a man can literally say that same message, a man can co-opt that message, and men to listen, they're like, oh man, yeah, man, we gotta man up, step up, type shit. And it's just like, as a woman, I can already imagine, like, just in the background, like, what have we been saying? But it just is weird how, like, the brain and the mind, like, it's all inputs and outputs. Like, we're all receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, an idea isn't original in the sense that, like, I've invented something. Like, an original idea is the work of God in my sense. But it's that we're receivers. And then, like, my brain was tuned to, 99.1. And coming in on 99.1 is, something from the universe that hit me. And it's just like, I got to broadcast this out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to take credit for this shit. I'm here to amplify what come in. And so, like, using that, like, I've been able to ground myself, humble myself, give credit to the gods who give talent, and say that, like, my job isn't to create as much as it is to, like, to amplify, what I'm feeling. Like, for some reason or another, I wake up in a mood, right? And, like, I have a dream, and, like, my dreams are influenced by if I ate something, if I'm stressed about something, if I watch something before I fall asleep. So all of that went into, but my dreams, the dream I had was my creation, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that perfect balance. And so, like, I'm looking at what you're saying about this ancient truth and, like, building a bridge and, like, building a chair. I just learned that lesson, Moni. Like, I just learned that lesson, like, even at my job and shit. Cause, like, I've been trying to get permission from my specific higher ups, and, like, it's just been dead ends after dead ends. And then I realized my life, like, all this potential was just sitting in this jar, and that, like, it was just this well of potential. And I realized, like, in physics, if you break the jar, water reaches its potential immediately, nigga. Like you don't break a glass and the water thinks it's like, okay, let me start to seep out. If you break the glass, water is going to go where it was supposed to go. It's going to go into your table. And if there's a crack in the table, it's going to go through the crack of the table. It's going to fulfill its potential, because that's, like, it ain't supposed to be held. Like, if you hold it, like, that's why we have oceans. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you, like, an ocean isn't held by anything. Like, if anything, land is surrounded by oceans, not the other way around. So, like, I just learned that lesson, and to hear you put it in your way was that affirmation I needed. It's like, okay, yeah, we're definitely, I don't know the end destination, but I do know I'm going in the right direction. So, like, that right there is an invaluable part of your book right there. I appreciate you giving me that.
Word, that is real. Like, just in what you were saying, I thought of a few things, but I'm like, I'm not even going, like, send us down a tangent if, like, we
do it. If you ain't trying, like, people can read the book. Like go off.
One that I think complements to, like, part of being great and build your own chair is the goal. I know it's like one of these first few pages, but it's like the goal isn't to be better than anyone else, only to be worthy of note as well. This is immortality. God, it's the second fucking page. I'm, like, missing it. The goal isn't to be better than anyone else, only to be worthy of note as well. This is immortality. Like, I think that, like, competition is, like, built into capitalism. Yeah. And, like, the funny thing is that, like, it could still work technically if, like, capitalism didn't beget also so much, like, anxiety on the personal level. And that's because it's like, it encourages you to compete, to have the best product or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's really no reason to compete, like, in a way that is destructive, because there's, like, you have no competition in the sense that, like, you were born, like, you were talking about just, like, like, being attuned to a certain frequency. And I feel like everyone is born into a unique situation inevitably, like, whether it's the time that they were born that, like, separates them from, like, their twin. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like even if you were a twin, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone is born to a set of parents at a certain time in a certain place, you know what I'm saying? And no one has the exact same identity, and that for that reason you're having a unique experience and you are a perfect storm. And just like some of the heartache that comes from being alive sometimes is from competition. So I think that like having thoughts to rely upon that like make you understand that like it is in fact when I understand that I don't need to compete, that I will be free. And like so when it says like the goal isn't to be better than anyone else, only to be worthy of no as well. It is like, you know, like if your goal is to be great, one, like we talked about a thought that like is an ingredient of greatness. It's an understanding of like, you know, not having to do it all yourself. But then it's also like when you think about the list of greats, like just understand that like there's a James Brown and there's a Michael Jackson. So just by sheer fact that there are two, that means that there is room for you. It's more so like your focus cannot be to be better than either of them, but only to be worthy of note, meaning that like their names cannot be said without yours also being mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's your posture, it is a lot easier to achieve your own personal, you know what I'm saying, greatness rather than, you know, just, you know.
Yeah, no, I
directing your focus.
I like the way you put that. My video's gonna come back. I just my phone got hot, so hopefully this ain't just the disembodied voice in my logo just staring back at you. But what I like about that one, it reminds me of this interview with 40, you know, the producer engineer for Drake, and he said this years ago, but he was like, when I'm mixing a track or when I'm making music, I imagine that I am in company. Like I imagine that like, you know, really important people are like right next to me at the table with. It's an imaginary process, but that elevates his work, right? So like, you know, he's not going to like, because you posture differently when you're just doing something by yourself and like, you know, there's not that internal pressure. And like a lot of like the self work is contingent on your discipline, right? And we all got different levels of discipline and we all got different distractions and, you know, there's levels, you know, to that shit. But like having that exercise, like it helps him. It enables him to see himself in the same light. And I just think that's something that like I want to keep track. I'm gonna try to just try to finesse this real quick as we have our conversation. But yeah, like I feel that on a personal level. It's kind of creepy. We just gonna rock with it. We gonna rock with it. Is this cool with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, live producing. But yeah, I appreciate it. I look at it in that same sense. Like I want to like I love what you just said. Like just like it's not about competing. And like I've been trained to compete. I've been trained there are winners and there are losers. Like I've been raised that way and like I've internalized that.
You have to understand your uniqueness. I mean, and it is definitely like something that is a work in progress. Like I feel like you know, I thought maybe I was like in a great position when I collected all of these thoughts, but like even since it's been published, like they've been with me for a while, but like I'm still like learning them. Like I'm still downloading. And that's like that one is not like or though that combination, like the things that like help you like not or just understand that like it's not even worth it to worry and about things like that. I feel like I've got a pretty good grip on, but still like a lot of this stuff is shit that I'm still internalizing. Or yeah, just training myself to like I don't practice. It's not done with me.
You just said something actually that remind me of girl, you got so many. We definitely not gonna have time to get through all these. But I will say this, my whole like I find myself being external a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I give myself out without. I found myself in a space where I was more concerned with creating stuff versus like reading my stuff. Right? I would write journals, but then I would never read my journals. Right? And don't give me the writing was good in that moment, but there's a learning that I can get access to if I read my journals. And it got to the point so bad where like I'd be in a creative rut, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, like how am I gonna do this, you know, podcast, how I'm going to get 2 cameras going and like 3 microphones, blah, blah, blah. And then like, I'll never figure that out. Then like a month later, I'll just happen across my journal. And I already had the idea I thought was a new idea. I wrote it down years ago. It's like I'm talking to myself in the future. And it's like once I look at like myself as like I'm aiding myself in that sense, I'm able to read my notes and be more, I think the word intentional, is a good way to put it, but just be more like just self-aware. And like as a creator, I put a lot of pressure to make like I measure myself a lot by what I put out there, and by putting stuff out there, I am tying a part of me, a big significant piece of me to what people think about me, like how they respond to it. And that denies a level of understanding I can get at when I treat it like I said, like don't put the pressure on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually like what people think is what people think, right? And obviously you want to have something that'll put you in a conversation, put your name of note, but it's extremely helpful for me to like learn myself. And like I like what you just said right there about this gave me another affirmation. Like if you still doing this, then like we all doing it. And like what other things that you're learning from whether your book or from like your reflections that like you got to remind yourself actually, even though you wrote the book on it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, shit, I wish I was disciplined enough to like read it every morning. Yeah. Because there are some times where like I'm working twice as hard as I have to. Because it's like, that's why I saw the value of like putting things like on the walls. So like it wasn't something I had to go look for. Like certain thoughts would just be like at me at all times. Like, you know what I'm saying? One statement that I want to point out that like what you just said made me think about was the one that says revel in the moments that mark your personal milestones and remain unbothered. Because it's like really only you know when you've done something better than you've ever done it before. So like regardless of like whatever anyone else says about it, just like as long as if in some way, like if you do a show and like 2 people came the first time and 6 people came the second time, and someone might come and be like, damn, only 6 people are here, but that's more people than they were there the last time, and so it's like you need to like acknowledge that and hold that close to you. Like those are the things that like will keep you going through your process. Just you taking note of like, when you do shit that you've never done before. But things that I'm still learning, and like there are topics I haven't written on. Yeah. So like I'm gonna learn them. Like, what I'm saying? Like and some of them are gonna be difficult. There are difficult topics that I haven't explored. And like law, like, I mean, yeah, it's like I don't even want to name them because I know that life's going to teach me the lessons that I'm learning. But like, there are plenty of topics I can think of that I haven't written on yet. So I know that there's lessons to be learned. And then like, even just trusting the fact that it's already done. Like it's coming and it already happened is in here. And like that is like affirmations that come from psychedelics, like explorations of psychedelics. Right. And then also just like knowing that like some shit I've like done before on some scale, and then I'll see myself do it again on another level. And it's like I was ready the second time because it's happened before. And a lot of like, what I'm saying, all I could dream of has happened to me in some way. You know what I'm saying? And that is one thing that I like let myself forget sometimes when I become like crippled by doubt or like have an anxiety attack or like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's because I'm forgetting that like it's really already done. Like, for example, like I could think of milestones where it was already done. Like day I graduated from UVA, day I turned in my last paper at UVA. Day I turned in my last paper, I cried. Yeah. The moment I pressed send on that email, I never felt a relief like that in my life. And I know that is because I was like, if I can make it, it is already done. It's nothing I can't do. If I just made it through the last assignment of this journey, of this process, it's already done. Came home like, all right, what am I about to do for work? Started working in a barbershop. And 2 years after that, I left that barbershop. And when I left that barbershop, I left like Angela Bassett with the flames behind her, yo. Like, yeah, I left that bitch like, yo. It's like, and it is funny because it's like I had to grow into those shoes, and then I grew out of those shoes. I was like, yo, if I could grow through that level, it is already done. And I knew that when I left it because it was like I wasn't scared. Yeah. Like there was just like I didn't expect to leave the way that I did, and when I did, I didn't even immediately have a plan. But like, what's so funny is that like the day that I did leave, I posted like this is about to be my last cut at the shop I was working at, and a friend of mine who owned a salon, she was like, "Where you about to work?" And I was like, "I don't even know yet." She like I was working 10 minutes from my house versus 40 minutes from my house for like and in this industry, it's like you pay booth rent, so you pay by the week to do what you do. And I was paying like $100 less in rent, and it was only 10 minutes from my house. I was like, if that ain't God and grace and letting you know that, like, bruh, like you better move when you really can't take it. No, like even if you don't gotta play, like if the evil pressures are like encroaching on your peace, get the fuck. And you'll be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Like hell. All right, you better be careful because I'm gonna get off this phone call. Like, hey, I ain't coming in tomorrow. Tell your mama that I'm not.
Oh, sorry. I'm Top Jordan now. I gotta go. I
gotta go.
Listen. Call Charlamagne. Call motherfucking Joe Rogan. All these niggas.
Like, I'm next, Joe. That's so wild. Like, yeah, like I appreciate that. So we gonna get into a conversation on love as we begin to wind down this conversation. And I got this fire soundbite of you doing what you do best, philosophizing. This is years ago, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. This is the spoken word. You and now. I'm gonna work on my sound bites, but here it is.
I used to feel like, the peak of relationships is sometimes when it's like you feel so close, it doesn't even feel like there's two of you, like so in sync. Like I just remember those types of feelings were like, damn, this is how I know this could be forever. But it is dangerous to be addicted to that feeling and to rely on that feeling, because it's not necessarily true. Actually, in most cases, it's not true that this is going to be the last one. So sometimes you have to like confront the reality that maybe they are one of your soulmates, but they have other soulmates, and sometimes that's hard to say, but it's not hard to believe because the same is true for you. And like you learn that in life, and it's wise and honestly smart to learn that early, because then you don't fall so far when love fails you. Like, because I've definitely been high and I've been low, but at the same time I've also experienced multiple loves. So then I know that like I have to really be, in touch with who I am, and like loving another person isn't about becoming one necessarily, but it's about being on the same accord and definitely keeping each other's best interests at heart.
How like you was like 22, like at most, like what the hell, girl?
Oh, I spoke too soon when I said since then get it then. Oh no, cheese and crackers. Damn.
My Lord, I still vibe with like what you say, like right there, like you say you spoke too soon, whatever, and like we're not done with the clip. I just had to pause it because I was like, you was just giving this out for free? Like, you doing this just for class? Like, and like in your book, like you know what I'm saying? You get into the topic as well. And we gonna touch on that. I had to hit pause on that one. Cause that's a violent ass idea, right? The merging of a soul. I mean, and I don't know, like we're older, like I said, and like, obviously 20-year-old Edward, like, that was the most profound thing. But like I've learned that, like, yeah, like me and my, like, it ain't about the merging of the souls, like an actual like violent, like becoming one type thing. Like I think that, like, I think everything you just said was truth. And I know this is an old statement, so I'm just want to make like, where you at? Like, how do you evaluate what you just said, and like, what have you found so far, so further?
Yo, I feel her. I ain't gonna lie. Like when you first played me the head of it, I didn't know where I went with those thoughts because I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I can't put myself in the moment unless I saw a video of it. But I am stunned that she articulated it, or it's articulated those thoughts in a way that like is true. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I guess I know how I knew that then. Wild though, because like just a bunch of high frequency, I guess romantic experiences in those years. Yeah, of all different types. And like, I guess I was coming at it from like, okay, this is what I've learned in the past 4 years type shit. 'Cause that was my 5th year in college, and I don't think I dated anybody at UVA in my 5th year. But yeah, I guess I had different partners at different times in college, and I was just like synthesizing what I learned from that experience.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I definitely think it's like it was pretty. What I'm saying there is pretty spot on, but it is something you have to learn, because even when you want like partnership, or if you think you want monogamy or whatever, it's still important to understand that it isn't. It is the cooperation, like you said. That is funny as fuck.
Well, yeah, you ain't done.
And that's not the same as getting so consumed in the other person that you forget who you are in it and what you need and what you want. And that's how sometimes relationships like fall off track. Like when one person loses sight of like where they're going. Like even if you want to go together, you have to have your own purpose, not just to be there for the other person. And what else is that? Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a relationship should be about, because honestly, if you think about longevity, there's no way that either of you is going to be the same now as you will in the end. So, like, your whole purpose in it should be to help them change, should be to help them grow, and not necessarily, like, and if it does, and you have to also, like, be okay with the fact that, like, people's priorities may change, and then you may move away from each other, but I mean, when you meet someone, undoubtedly they're not their most perfect self. You see perfection in them, but you should want to just like cultivate that. Like you should want to be that mirror that like reflects back at them something greater, and like but also has the words to help them build that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most productive relationship, and it's also a one that has the most potential, because if you help someone change, then you're there throughout those changes. You don't have to worry about them growing apart from you necessarily, because they know that you've been there and helped them become whoever they are.
So how vulnerable she let yourself?
What up? Eh? Woo! And I feel like you drop some bars like that in the book, right? Like so, you know what I'm saying? Like I wrote, God, man, this whole section, like, I love the romantic stuff, but like this right here is just like what people really need to hear. Like, okay, man, I go through each one. Like my favorite, okay, I'm gonna start with my favorite, and it's all caps. You fell for the God in me, but I hope you love my mortal self too, because that's the one that really needs it. Moni, come on. I put the book. I put a sticky note in it. I said I need this. I need to come back to this one. Like how would you describe the distinction between the God in you and the mortal?
Oh man. I mean, our mortal selves are just like fallible, and like we are liable, like we are susceptible to those anxieties that like the world might encourage us to have. The God in us doesn't necessarily have those; it just exists. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you're always gonna get glimpses of it because it is like the ever present. But then there's like this filter that we live through, which is our bodies and our present mortal self. You know what I'm saying? And that organism is affected by a bunch of other things as far as like how well it functions. And yeah, that's where the story happens, really. Usually. And so I just feel like there is a way to look at people like I feel like there's a proper term for it, but like, you know, it is true. Like when you gaze at something and you relax your gaze, like, you know what I'm saying, it becomes more beautiful type shit. Like, and there is a way to tap in with like who somebody is and then understand that whatever is constant and then also interpret the things that the person does through that lens. Like, if that makes sense. Like people will do things that are going to disappoint you, or people will do things that are errors. Like this doesn't have to be like that serious. You know what I'm saying? But like that is my mortal self, and I would hope that like anybody who like, you know, claims to love me can see past anything that might be an earthly glitch. You know what I'm saying? and know my heart. And like the thing is, I feel as though as much as I understand that, there are still things I don't tolerate. You know what I'm saying? And that nobody has to tolerate from me either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, because I definitely see like myself on both sides of this statement. It's like you fell for the God in me, but I hope you love my mortal self too. It's like I know that I'm fucking fallible and that I'm going to glitch. Well, like I would hope like glitch less and less like as I grow.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it happens. Like I ain't gonna tell you it don't, because you know I can glitch in solitude. Like nobody else has to even be involved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can tell you that. And then it's also like when I think about my own love, even though my love might be constant for someone, I may not, you know, I guess tolerate them in my mortal, in my space. If they, you know, exhaust me or like do things that like, you know, I'm not saying I don't see the God in you just because I don't, you know, just because we can't share space anymore, intimate space anymore.
You you wrote in the you actually had a question about this. I'd love to hear. You was like God. I think it was something simple like God is a race. I just want to know what you mean by that.
Yeah. So it's like I think I came up with that in like the same breath as like the one before that says, even in all your squalor, you are still a God.
Yeah.
That's something I had to learn. That's like my own, like that one I feel like could be unpacked for a long while, because there's some like, just like, I guess psychology that like, I realized like what a mess is like in your life. Like what is it actually a reflection of? Usually it's like a manifestation of like stress and unhappiness and like just it could be years of to-dos undone.
Wow. Yeah.
And like you can also recognize if you've been like, you know, born into a situation like that where it's like you might have taken on habits and stressors that were not necessarily your own or natural to you. So I say that even in all your squalor, you are still a God, because like sometimes things can be very ugly. And you're still a God though, because you still have the power to like change them in a sense.
That's real.
And so I was like, God is a race, because I'm like, God is a race of men who choose to live on a God level. Like, you know what I'm saying? Live with a God perspective, really. And like things do move because of that. Like, so yeah, like God can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. But to me, I felt like it was important to make people understand that like God is a race in the sense that like you can be all of these different ethnicities and colors or whatever, but and I didn't want to make it seem like God is only of one people, which is something that like is divisive in general about like, the belief systems that we know. And yeah, so I'm like, God is a race of people that choose to understand God, choose to see God. And recently, I actually kind of just started writing notes that might, become the beginnings of just a next collection of thoughts.
Yeah.
And like one of those thoughts was like, fear karma, befriend God.
Mm, that's
Because niggas
real.
be like fear God all the time, and I'm like, yeah, but like befriend God, so you understand so you understand His love language, so you
Yeah.
understand, like, you know what I'm saying, like what to listen to, what to be encouraged by, whatever. Fear karma, so that can guide your actions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, like.
That's good. I'm glad we got that on the heard it here first, right here on the No, that's real. That's real life. That's real life. And it's funny you say that because like I mean, for me, I had to learn. I get like instant karma, like it's a joke, but like I mean, and like there's patent ideas where like literally, like the moment I act in the flesh, or the moment I just what I'm saying, I just what I'm saying, I do some dirt or whatever, like I'm rewarded by karma instantly. Like not rewarded, but like just reminded that like hey man, you stepping on the line, you throwing off the balance of your trajectory of your life. So karma will come in is like you threatening a future where like I have all these gifts and stuff prepared for you, and you out here stepping out of line just on some just random like GTA side missions. It's like all right, we free ranging, but like you just did the wrong mission. And like so I had to learn, like I learned through karma, like like and I I believe in reasons, and like I do believe in so much out there, like I believe in this. I believe in fate, right? And I don't believe in fate that looks like Hercules and like your life was written for you. But I believe that like our fate is to create our own fate, right? We were created to create fate, and our decisions today create a future. Create possible outcomes. And there are certain higher order of life questions everyone has to deal with, regardless of our oppression. Like regardless if I'm a black person being wrongfully imprisoned, or if I'm being oppressed because of who I am and what society sees me, even then I still have to deal with the first order of question, which is, what is my life, what is purpose? And I love that, like when I say I create my own fate, is that like I may not be 100% responsible for all the effed up things that happen to my life, but I'm still accountable for like my own life regardless. Like when someone broke off, some dickhead broke off my windshield wiper from my car. Like, yeah, I had nothing to do with that, but it was still my job to like get a new windshield wiper, which I just did, recently, because I was so holding on to that. So it's just like, I love that you put it in those terms that like, say befriend, fear karma, befriend God, because who serves a God of fear, right?
I actually think that's like, when you think about that, it's just leading with fear tactics. I've been thinking about that recently, and it's like, it's not that effective. I was actually okay. So one thought that came to me the other day was like, I think it's beautiful that, like, for example, like black gladiators, for in large part, are wordsmiths. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that is like our sport. Like we can really duke it out with the word, and like I think that's like really cool. And I'm like thinking like, there are obviously like ancient like white philosophers and stuff like that, but like, and I guess authors too. I don't know. But I feel like the word has always been something very important to melanated peoples.
Yeah.
Outside of like that, I didn't even want to say like just black people. But
Yeah.
and I know that it's always been important to black people.
Yeah.
But I said that to say we were talking about the word. Oh, we were talking about fear, leading with fear.
Oh, true.
And I was saying that, like, I think it's dope that black people know that all we need is the word. And if something is true, it should really, like, for example, like, if the Constitution was that fire, it should govern society flawlessly.
Yeah.
If it was, you know what I'm saying? If it was that fire, like, if it was that fire, we would not be like, okay, you need to get trained to interpret it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It would be
and it would be sound, and it would be something we could all refer to and rely on. Like, it wouldn't discriminate. It would be a perfect document, and it is not. And it was not written by Black people. No. But the thing is, weak documents lead you to lead with fear.
What you mean?
Like, I'm just saying, like, for example, like, our country is like, governed by this document or whatever. And the fact that it is not fire in the booth, like bars, is the reason, is one of the reasons why they need fear to maintain control. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas Black people, we use the word, and there is respect given when it is earned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, cipher.
And I'm just like, I'm just thinking about that just as a difference in the sense that, like, that's just one way, but like another, like, just schools of thought that I guess I'm in tune with right now, like pleasure activists who, like, one, for example, her name's Adrienne Marie Brown. She wrote Emergent Strategy, and a lot of, like, her writing is based off of, like, being in, like, avid, like, just Octavia Butler stan, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really engaging with some of the theories that she expresses in her writing. But, like, Adrienne Marie Brown just, like, talks about the fact that, like, pleasure, and not to say, like, cotton candy, but, like, pleasure is a more influential, I guess, transforming agent than stress or fear.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so when we think about correcting, like, the behavior of what we feel are, like, our worst citizens or our most dangerous citizens, it's not like, okay, send them to Disney World and that's going to fix it, but more so, like, just like brute punishment is not going to be what deters people from doing bad things
at all.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, engaging the tension in their fucking spirit and understanding that, like, everyone just wants to fucking lay in a hammock, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather not have problems. Like, most people, you know what I'm saying? But you have to understand that, and, like, people who, like, I just think leading with fear will go out of style ultimately.
I think of that. I dream of a future where, like I was just thinking, like, man, there's gonna be a future without, like, consumer plastic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, granted, like, there's gonna be a future, you know what I'm saying, without, like I'm looking at the evolutionary arc of humanity and how, like, people, you know, I'm not gonna say people generally, but it's you would think naturally that it's a natural progressing arc. Like, oh, we started from the caves, and, you know, through 100,000 years, we've become, you know, shapers of the world. But there's no attention paid to the regressions and the erasures, and that, like, we're catching up for shit for, like, the Dark Ages, where we erased, like, you know what I'm saying, thousands of libraries. Like, we were like that. There was a future, a civilization that was budding, and then that culture was eviscerated and burned to the ground. Like, we're missing a future ran by, you know what I'm saying, the indigenous peoples of America. Like, we're missing that future, like a future that was not built on white supremacy. And I'm not going to lionize and say, you know, I know what that future would have been like, but, like, we're still in the Dark Ages, and, like, time is in its loop right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, physically, like, and so I say all that just to say that, like, when I want fear to go out of style, because it's like, humans, we're made, and I think you say something about this, about, like, you know, apply order to your life, and, like, through order, you'll find time to do stuff. And, like, the way we think and the way we put stuff together is that, like we build upon what was before us, right? That's how culture works. Like, that's why, like, to the level there is cultural appropriation, like commercial appropriation. I'd rather say that. But cultural appropriation, like, is culture. Like, we build bricks on top of the bricks that was beneath the last brick. And so I'm just looking at our future, and it's like we're so nascent in this thing. Like, we just got touchscreen phones. You know what I'm saying? Like the radio, the telegram came up with, like, 120 years ago, like 30 years, you know, like, we just got the electric car. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, this is, like, people, like, I'm thinking of a future that's going to look back at this days like we look back at, like, the Romans who was throwing their waste out onto the streets and stuff. It's like, y'all was throwing y'all sewage into the streets. Like, y'all ain't have toilets. And, like, I dream of a future so far advanced on us that, like, you know what I'm saying, they are like, these motherfuckers, like, they used to burn fossil fuels to, like, get around, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So, like, I'm with you on that. Like, and I appreciate your perspective because it lets me know that like that future already exists somewhere. But it like we may not be around to 100% be there, but hopefully our ancestors will look back and they'll take what you said in the opening lines of this book or early in the book, say like, man, like my ancestors had their foot all up in the ass of this future. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they shit was fucked. I would never want to live in the 2020s. Like I would never want to live in the 1880s or the 1840s. But they'll look back and be like, you know what though? Like, you know, like, man, you know what I'm saying? Madam CJ Walker, she had her foot all up in this future. Shit like that. So like that.
And you know, I don't even mean to
cut.
But like like what you're saying makes me think about why I chose to be an African American Studies major at the end of the day. And it was also like it was funny because like it was only something that took so long because of like what like misguided, honestly, respectability politics like at UVA and in the world. Like, what are you going to do with that degree? Yeah. I can tell you a lot of things I've done with that background like now, and I honestly think I like bring value to my degree more than like my degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, made it possible for me to do these things. It's just more so like looking back in retrospect that's like my background on paper. It's like, okay, like hopefully like that will add value to the department at that school, that it is worth it to invest in this department and the minds that are drawn to it, because like you were talking about, like my ancestors had their foot all up in that. Like I also think I knew what to write or what was worth writing down, because or what was worth trying to reiterate in a way that was easily digestible for my peers and my like contemporaries, because I know a lot about what has been said from taking those classes, like from taking Lady T's class and knowing what a lot of playwrights and like, you know what I'm saying, musicians have said and written and done. And then like taking other classes, you know what I'm saying, that just give me context for the times and also let me know, like, just expose me to the bars. You know what I'm saying? Like
the culture bars that we build with, like, come on.
Bars.
Yes.
Like seriously. And so it's like, we got all these things that have already been said. So I'm like, why? Like, that's why I wrote like, it's crazy how knowing your history makes you feel like a black person from the future. That's straight up from, you know what I'm saying, like African and African American studies background. It's because it's like you read all these bars and it's like people have like dismantled like racism and like, you know, like the concept of whiteness and even like, you know, white supremacy, whatever. They've dismantled it and torn it apart with logic as far as like talking about why it's wrong and why it's backward. But we still live in this world that's inconsistent with the fact that someone has already discovered and explained why this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and we still live here. So it's very confusing once you know someone has already put it as perfectly as it can be put.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, but there's still work to be done. So that's what encouraged me to write or try. It was like, okay, well, what can I do to like make it plain?
Wow. Like the Dark Ages, like it's different if like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, hell, there's probably someone in like during the bubonic plague, there probably was a dude like saying like, yo, y'all we can't be living in barns. We got to wash our hands. And then he was probably like, man, shut the hell up. Like, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they just missed out. And it came upon. So I'm like, the fact that like our greatest challenge in America, you know what I'm saying, is like, how do we like, is not something like, it's not like some type of mystery, like finding the theory of everything or like figuring out how to do warp speed, like something that we can't, like, we literally know through literature, like how to fix this problem. Like we know, like we actually know what needs to be done. Like, it's not a secret. It's not like the holy grail that might exist. Like, we could get out of the Dark Ages next week and we not. So like that's why we dream of that future.
One thing this makes me think of is like, you were like, we know from literature like how to fix these problems. It's like, okay, so a couple years ago I worked on a project where I wrote for a piece that Meek did in put out in the New York Times. It was like an op-ed, and it was like a critique on like just the criminal justice system and like predatory like probation laws and stuff. And like I was like, I mean, you know, it was a serendipitous opportunity. Very cool. It's a longer story as far as like how it came about, but it was like I long story short, like I did a street installation in New York in Union Square like on August 8th of 2018, and like one of the people that stopped by, who like liked it or whatever. And he was just like, yo, like, I like this. I like your style. Like this stuff should be everywhere. And like, he took my email that day, and like I didn't hear from him maybe till 2 months later. But when he did email me, he was like, yo, I'm working on this project. It's going to be an op-ed in the New York Times. I mentioned this because I wonder if things might be different, but not like, I know they may not entirely be different at all. Cause like plenty of people have like, you know what I'm saying? Like voiced critiques of like our justice system. But so the opening lines of the piece was supposed to be like a rendition of the Miranda rights. Yeah. That was like the instruction I was given. And so I was the only Black person writing on this team, by the way.
Like, didn't know that. Continue.
I did like, and it was like very annoying because what I felt that they did was undo a lot of my bars. And like what I'm doing, when you write a bar, this is alchemy, bro. Yeah. Like this is not just like, and that's what we know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like working with people who were not Black, like I was frustrated at different points in the process, not because they were bad people, but it was more so like, you don't understand the damage you are doing when you undo a bar. Yeah. One, for example, was the opening lines, which was like, they had like, okay, so this is what I had. Let me talk about what I had first and then what they changed it to. I was like, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you do or say will be interpreted as violent. Any weapon they got on them, they'll be willing to use against you. If you so much as choke to breathe, you're going to have an issue. Ooh. That was 2 years ago, 2018. The world stopped this year when exactly that happened. So like a man was choked, like trying to breathe. Yeah. And there was like, and this is like, okay, Alton, no. Eric Garner, yes. Sad that I can even like, you know what I'm saying?
Choose.
Mix up. Yep. It's too many. It's crazy. Yeah. But Eric Garner, like that line was inspired by Eric Garner's case. And then we have another case this year with George Floyd. And like that, to me, I'm like, well, what if we left a line like that? Because then Meek would even be able to say like, yo, I said this shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it would be like, it would have been something because that is something that reached a lot of people. But like, and it's different than if he put it in a song, for example, because like, and what they did though, and this is like, I get there on the day that we're shooting and I see like all of these rewrites that were done by people who like, you know, just wanted to feel like they did their job. Yeah. Like, oh, I contributed to this. I'm like, you didn't have to. Yeah. Like, you really didn't have to like undo my shit just to say that you did something. Because now I'm watching me read this weak shit. It's like, oh, you're the right to remain silent. But is that really what they mean? I'm like, are you crazy, bro? These lines are like a world apart in their ability, like in their effectiveness, yep. And their like me. It was so disheartening.
That's painful.
And like shit like that fucked me up. And like what's funny is that the redeeming moment for me in that process, I mean, it went over well. When I watch it back, like I don't hate it, but I just know that there are so many lines that like were undone.
Yeah.
But when he was interviewed on CNN, there was a line about that actually, you know, was reminiscent of a line that I wrote for Lady T's joint, which was like, living in the past. Like, oh my God. I'm like, I feel like I need to say the whole poem.
Yeah, go ahead, pull it up, take your time.
Okay, I'm gonna just say it. Like, don't feel the need to like include this whole thing, but it's gonna remind me of the line in the Meek joint.
No, this is spoken word. This is the perfect.
The one we wrote for Lady T was like, we're living in the past and the present. We got history book that lack lessons. Yep. We got grown people passing down the wrong impressions because their parents were distracted, leaving them kind of neglected. We got a social timeline that we can't confront. We got kids going to school just for lunch. We got people having babies that they don't want. So instead of bedtime stories, niggas just pass the blunt. We got politicians that deserve prison. We got propaganda perpetrating as religion. We got people thinking you only holy if you Christian. In 2015, how is this the country that we live in? You know, they say the tree of knowledge.
I remember this point. Actually, you know what's crazy? Yeah, hey, watch this. Watch this. Look what I got here, homie. Let's see.
The actual book.
The actual book. Because I remembered, I was like, man, because that thing put the work in on it. I don't remember when. Actually, oh, yep. Wait, hold on. Yeah, we got. Okay. They say the tree of knowledge is locked up in the college, but how do they explain the way the apples tend to fall so far from the tree? That you pick it up, you remember?
Oh my God. What's the next line?
They built mansions with branches. And of course, the rotunda needed a roof. And even though the tree has been destroyed, it still manages to bear this strange fruit. I fell from the tree.
In 92.
Yup. Didn't make the calf daily, but I'm sure the world got the news. Growing up, my mom, she taught me how to move. My dad taught me what he knew, told me to stay in school. See, he did it till he got his PhD, but for now, he'll have to settle for my 1 degree. Because for me, this environment is inherently violent. It suffocated my passions till I felt I was silent. I did learn one thing, that knowledge is sought from within. And I learned I never, ever have to compete to win. You miss... Girl, heat. Come on. This was the best. Yeah, and I remember when you dropped this in class, too. Because I did my little thing. Like, I did my, speak the forbidden truth. I spoke the forbidden truth, saw Mother Nature nurture those forbidden roots as the fruit hang from his knitted noose. And that's not even the final version. That's just what I gave. I even had something different.
That's like different than I even remember. And now I'm like, I can just go look up this Meek stuff because it's right here.
Yeah, pull it up.
But yeah, like, did I share with, this is.
I felt that. I felt that in my spirit. What did you share with me? What was it?
Okay. I was asking if I share with you like what I'm doing with them now.
If you want to, like, yeah.
I want to find this line though, because like what I was gonna tell you is that like one of the redeeming moments for me was like when Meek was interviewed on CNN, was like they asked him about a line that was my words verbatim, and I was like, it just made me feel like, okay, y'all should have listened to me because the one line they pick out this whole piece, this is it. This is an early version, but basically like. It was a line about the plantation and the prison being no different.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes, and that right there is just that validation that like y'all should have listened to my girl Moni. Like with, I like why would they undo? And that's a language. It's violent in itself. You know what I'm saying? I was at this conversation with this Navajo man, and he was giving like a diversity dialogue on like how indigenous peoples are treated in America, and like. It's just wild to think that like even like I didn't think we could have, as a black person, I could have privilege over any other group in America. Yet like you start to see what's going on in the indigenous nations and just the erasure and then the genocide. It's like damn, you forget that like the first sin wasn't slavery. It was taking the land. The first sin was man. So like and then but I say that because he was saying like. He put this metaphor. He was like, you got to understand that look at education as genocide. And like them taking the education out of your work is an act. Genocide, no one wants to ever say, it was a genocide, not to make light of no work. But like, it is a genocide on black Americans. And if your words had an opportunity to diminish that and raise awareness, then there's a cost that was paid. And that's, 2020. Like, and so, you're not exaggerating. Like you're not exaggerating when you say that like there was impact that was taken out of your statements.
It really hurt me. It disturbed me in a way that other people didn't understand. Like when it really dropped, it was like bittersweet. But I was like cool with it because I'm like, I know this is cool, but like I was trying to do some shit.
Yeah,
like, I was trying to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I watered it down. Like
You still looking for it too? I can see you just.
I am only because I'm finding the line. I'm like finding different drafts of the script, but I'm trying to find the one that was actually the final because it's like there's a way that I like ironed out the line.
Yeah, like, I get it. I get it.
And so I like want to find it because it's in the final one. So I'm like wherever the last version is, it's there. But yeah. Anywho, I ain't even tripping now. I was just.
Well, hey. This has been the spoken word with Edward. We've been going, man. And like I said, what did we say? We wasn't going to trip about time. This is well over 2 hours. But like, that's the good podcast. Like, this ain't no radio show. This and that. So I'm gonna lead us out with a submission I got. Remember, spoken word. If you have audio submissions, whether you're doing spoken word, you singing a cappella in your bathroom, if you doing a dramatic monologue, any type of verbal expression, literally word spoken, I can use it for the playlist. And so we're gonna go into a submission I got from a dear friend from UVA named Aya, and she did her thing with this one. So this is the spoken word. Hit him with the drop.
What up? I thought it made me feel better. I finally got you out my bed.
Sing, Aya.
But I still can't get you out my head. I'm sending you one text at a time. I know you're by your phone.
Damn.
So boy, pick up your line. I ain't too proud to beg.
Put some batteries in your smoke alarm, though.
What's been said has been said. And I need you to know. You don't know what love is. And I need you to know.
What?
You
What do you need to
don't
know? Tell me.
You don't know what love
Put
is.
some batteries.
You don't put up a fight. You don't know what love is.
Sing.
If you don't stay up all night crying, you don't know what love is. If you're too good to call a million times, you say that you know what love is.
Sing, Aya.
But I swear you never seen it in your life.
I want
I
that.
swear you never seen it in your life. Baby.
Damn.
I swear
That's
you
that.
never seen it in your life.
Thank you, Aya, for that. Did you have something you want to say on that real quick before we outro out?
On the song?
Huh?
Beautiful.
Yeah, or
I said
anything.
on the song? That was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I was like that. Like it made me think. Like I said before, I was just like, I love artists that came out of that space because it's so hard to believe in yourself in that space.
Yeah.
So anybody who's being artsy that came out of UVA, you got my support. Take it
Always.
there.
And you gotta support yourself. This ain't for an agenda. I'm telling you what I found so far. Like it really is a pocket full of inspiration and like truth. Honestly, not the commercial inspiration. Like the fact that this started off as a personal journey, that you made it for yourself first, gives it that additional value where it's not commercialized, where it's not watered down, it's not, you know what I'm saying, undone. And but like it's a beautiful work. What I found so far. Be sure to get it. You want to tell the people where they could find you and like how else they could support you?
Yeah, I'm at her work, her period work on Instagram. What I found so far also has a page. Is what I found so far at what I found so far spelled properly, just partially. And the book is at whatifound.com or wyfsf.com. Both domain names.
You got both domain names on deck. That's that boss level.
Yeah. And I'm Rap Romy on Twitter, but
you be tweeting a little bit. You get some tweets off. You do. You do.
It's a different, you gotta master all these platforms because I'm definitely trying to figure out how to come through the most authentic on all of them.
Yeah.
But
you just so real. Like the platforms, they almost take something away from it. That's why like these conversations and that memo book you gonna drop, like that's how we gonna get to know
each other.
Hey,
you just gave me the key. I'm so I'm inspired in a whole different way. Like it seems like a project that has an outline now.
Yeah, and let me do the mixing on that because I know conversations will be recorded, in back pockets, and like all of these are just voice memos.
It's a done deal. You the engineer.
Love, look at life. We gonna get in these enterprises. This has been a spoken word of mouth. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, for those watching this or listening to this on your podcast platform, please be sure to share this. We are back, and I am here to stay. This has been a word of mouth. We have been in the spoken word with Moni, and I hope everyone have a highly favored day. Grab this book, and shout out to the Beatsmiths. You listening to a beat produced by my dear friend Damier. Produced by Damier. Make sure you follow him. Shout out to Pillard, who did the intro music. Producers, man, I need y'all beats, man. I don't think any artists get more disrespected than producers. And I want this platform to uplift, if anyone, producers. So like, make sure give me them beats, and you know what I'm saying, we'll put them in the show. We'll send people to your websites, to whatever I need to do to make sure you getting your due respect. And as we outro out of here, appreciate everyone. This has been the spoken word, whatever.
What up? What up?